I came from that era where ball striking, you're hitting with a blade and a ballata ball. If you could rifle a 3-iron and a 2-iron and a 1-iron onto a green, there was only a dozen of us could do that.
Yeah.
So you knew you had. If you played great on a day, you knew you'd already beaten 90% of the field.
Of course.
Not completely different with the technology now. There's so much more equal. So obviously my greatest shot I ever hit in my life was the 3-iron I hit at Muirfield at the last hole, 92, because that was basically 4 to win the Open.
Wow.
So my heart was going inside, and but I still nailed it. So that's
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So have you mentioned before you've still got all these clubs?
Still got that one.
So
yeah.
you still got that.
It's so funny. When I was clearing out the office and going through, and I think I found the driver that I won, the tailor-made with the old bubble shaft. I won Doral. I looked at this. I could recognise the scratches on it. I thought, well, yeah, that's me. I've hit that. I'm thinking, well, if I've hit that, I'll keep it. So I'm just gonna have them all in Montana, so people can actually go and hit them, and it'd be quite nice
awesome.
to say, "Oh yeah, that was the wedge that I won the so-and-so with," or something.
Shut up. Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I think it'd be fun.
Oh, I think I'd have them in a museum, like a Faldo museum.
I think it'd be fun if people can pick it up and say, "Yeah, go and give it a go." I mean, they're not gonna harm it.
Scar you by.
You mentioned a minute ago your marks. What are your marks on clubs?
Well, you can tell by the sole plate where you've been whacking it, because that was your direction that you've swung it, and then obviously the sweet spots on some of my irons was very impressive. got a rusty little sweet spot about the size of your pinky nail. So that was, I look at that and think, that was all right. I could button it in the day, which was good.
And like when you pick up these old clubs now and you put them down, do they instantly transport you back to the time when
they're brutal. You look at we joke, the 1-iron looks like a fish knife.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, there's no meat, and every modern thing now is this big and this wide, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just put it behind it, it's off. It wants to help you. Those other things, just like they're staring at you, going, "Good luck, mate."
Yeah.
What do you think's been the biggest change in equipment in that last 25 years? Do you think it's ball, or is it more that the metal's been so much bigger?
There's a couple of things. One, that you can go and get tested and get a professional set of clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, 25 years ago, that wasn't even a thing.
Well, when I
was
started, it was a sack of spanners. It really was. They were terrible. When you find a head that you liked, and they tried a shaft and didn't have the choice of shafts or anything like that, and you had a driver. Back again, the persimmon days, they shafted it for you, put a new shaft in, and then you go, "That's not quite right." They go, "Well, not sure if I want to do it again. I might crack the head." And you go, "Well, I'll work with it. I know this driver, when I'm a bit nervous, does this, goes to the right." Well, you played with it, and you kind of adapted to the clubs. Now the clubs are built for you,
of course.
And a 15-year-old kid has got absolutely the best equipment, so that's huge. And then the whole debate. So for me, what's happened is the driver face, the shaft is phenomenal now. And it's your launch monitor. So, you marry all of that together. So you understand spin, and launch. And technicians, you don't have to know diddly about a golf club. You hit balls. The technicians has watched thousands of people, and he can go, try this shaft, and we give him half an hour, and you're nailing it better than you've ever hit it. You can do it every day. I can go tomorrow, and I'll hit it better again. It's crazy.
How much of an advantage do you think in the 90s having a really like a modern day launch monitor would have been for you?
It'd been huge, because you wouldn't stand there hitting 1,000 balls every day. You could hit 100.
Really, you think it's almost that?
Well, yeah, because we got our answers out the dirt, and now you hit one ball. You say, "Well, I'm trying to hit a high draw," and you go whack, and the numbers say, "That is a high draw," and you look up there, and that's a high draw, and you go, "Oh, I was feeling that, and that means it was correct," which works. Same thing. You go, "Well, I'm trying to hit a high draw," and you try it. And then the numbers are wrong. You go, it's telling me I thought I was in to out, and I'm actually not quite enough. So you can fine tune if you've got a bit of feel. That's why I loved it, because you say, if I'm good enough to make a swing that's 1 degree in to out, how much do I get? Yeah. So what does 2 degrees in to out feel like? And you think, what's 3 degrees? So if you've got that touch, you can then go, wow, to get 4 degrees in to out, it's got to feel this exaggeration, but the numbers is telling me this is correct. Yeah. So that's why it's so cool. Tells you things you're not sure of, angle of attack. You go, well, that felt good, and it then might say, oh, that was a bit too much on the down, mate. You were 3 degrees down, you're trying to get it 1 degree, and all that, and you think, okay, so that means can I do it? So you can see, you hit 100 balls, and every single one is giving you factual information, as opposed to hitting balls all morning, and then going, not sure if I got it.
With a bit of guesswork almost.
Yeah, huge difference.
That I never even considered it as much as that, really. What about like your yardages and stuff as well?
Same thing. These guys all stand there and they hit balls, and you ask them, so how far do you hit your 4-iron? They go 187.
Point 3.
I've done that before. They go, oh yeah, it's obviously got a lot further now. 4-iron, they'll be saying, I can hit it 223. And you go, well, no, in my day it was, my 4-iron went, let me think, it might be 190 to 200. I couldn't, didn't quite have it to 194.
It was within a window.
Exactly.
Where they've got it to the exact point.
Exactly. And they come up with this. That's their stock. And you think, okay, wow. And then, so things like, and especially field shots. So we did it old school, which is probably more fun. I mean, I used to get, so I created a system with the great Fanny Sunison. And so I used to send her out there on the range, like 80 yards. And so if I landed one at 80, I'm trying to remember, I think she put her arm out like that, meaning level. So if it was 1 yard short, it was 2 yards short, 3, or 1 yard past, because I couldn't quite see.
Yeah.
So I'm looking, and so we had this little, the poor girls out on the range going like this for about
in the YMCA
2 hours or something. And now, of course, they all go, 60, 68, trying for 72, 73, so it's so much easier. My goodness.
And do you think it's good though for modern players? As much as you're saying it's easier to get these numbers.
Well, it definitely has elevated the standard of so many players. I mean, the depth of standard is pretty amazing. Again, because of the equipment, my example is in my day, let's say there was 10 or a dozen really good ball strikers, good drivers, really good ball strikers. And they were the best players in the world. Now, there's a dozen bad ball strikers. Everybody's a good ball, thanks to equipment and everything. So, and of course the driver is crazy now. We've gone from, Greg was long, Seve was long. Seve could, that was 280.
Carry or total?
Total
distance.
Total. Now it's 3 would goes 280.
It does. On the fly.
Yeah. Well, it was. I remember walking the range clubs, for television and asking, what do you do? Yeah, they said, 295, 300. If I really lean on it, I get 305. Okay, now. So then Dustin Johnson, maybe one of the first to suddenly consistently hit it 320.
Yeah.
And then Rory could do it. And then, of course, we got this new club, the 340 and 50 through the air. But then there's all these sneaky guys. I mean, Joachim Niemann is,
I know. Nothing of him.
Needs a real good pizza. But it's just, and he's out there 360,
Crazy,
70 yards. He hits these hot runners.
Yeah.
And there's so many guys who get it out there 350 and up. Well, 350 is mild. Well, you stand on a hole at 400 and think, they're hitting it front edge.
Yeah.
I'm going, what? I'm looking at strategy. I'll hit it over there 3.
Yeah.
And they go, no, we just whoop it to the grid. I mean, it's a completely different ball game.